especially this year. Do you want to share what you've been doing and how it's impacted you?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, I guess I'll talk about the most impactful thing for me, and I see a lot of people in here who I've seen like at these meetings, is like Hawks minded. Obviously, that's within athletics, but I really have loved being a part of that group and being able to go to those meetings and they really do de-stress you and allow you a time to breathe. But also they allow you to talk to other athletes that you would otherwise not talk to. I think that having that laid back type of setting it allows you to just open up to people that you would never otherwise open up to. And for me, that's a big thing in terms of I think we've all got our own team, we've all got friends on other teams, but there are so many other athletes that like we don't know, that you're not close with. That if you had the chance to have one conversation with, like chances are like you'd be like, all right, like he's a good dude, or she's a really cool girl, like something like that. So that organization's been really, really great for me, mainly like the past year.
Yeah, and I think not just student athletes that we don't know. I mean, I know it took me a while to finally, like my junior year, I was like, I can have friends outside like sports. Like they're cool people, and just kind of leaning into that. So suppose I'm gonna pose this to Taylor. Suppose a student athlete or a student who may not be involved comes to you after this session and says, I want to get involved. I just have no idea how. What kind of advice would you give to someone who has this initiative but doesn't really have the direction?
Yeah, so just like talking to other athletes, especially if you're like secluded to that as the majority of your friends. A lot of people on campus are diversified in different clubs and sports, or even reaching out again, like your orientation leaders. No matter if you haven't talked to them in a year or 3 years, like they always are there to help you. And that's just coming from my perspective. I had some of my initial freshmen to talk to me in my senior year and be like, hey, like I heard you know about this. Like, can you direct me in the right rotation? Or even your coaches and everything, they know a lot more about the things on campus. And there's always like the career fair and the activities fair that runs at the beginning of the year and stuff. So always signing up can never hurt. You can always tell people no, but it's always hard to go back and like retrace your steps and be like, oh, I could have done that. But it's always better to sign up for everything, talk to whoever, just get your email on the list, and you can always show up whenever you feel like it at that point.
For sure, and I think as athletes we often think we have to go all in on things, just because it's kind of how we're hardwired, and just getting little doses of new things that are different outside your sport can really impact your well-being. I think of like Hawks Minded is just like a nice refresher every once in a while that reminds you of who you are and to breathe and things like that. So now
I'll say something too quick, Bobby. I feel like it's like someone who would want to get involved. Like you have, I don't know how many athletes there are. I think 300-ish. You have 300 resources that you can tap into, and I feel like that's one thing for me that I've started to realize, like as I've spent more time here, is that if you shoot someone a quick text or a quick email, like they're going to respond and they're going to try and help you in any way that they can. I feel like, at least when I was like a freshman, I was kind of like, I thought that would be weird. Like if I would like, maybe email someone that I was, hey, like I don't know a ton about this, like I want to learn more, can you just explain to me a little more information? But I feel like now it's like, if I have a question about something and I want to ask someone, like bam, I'm just gonna reach out to them and like not even really think about it. So I feel like, and I mean, I think that goes back to our like vulnerability, in that you can reach out to anyone and really just be yourself, and people will have positive responses.
For sure. Thanks for sharing with that. Olivia, Lottie, Amanda, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I do. So I definitely agree, like your peers are super helpful in terms of that, but I just want to stress like the actual amazing athletic department that we have in terms of who's on staff. So shout out to Eric. In terms also Jill, Eric Romano, who's also with athlete wellness. I know for me specifically, I've been working on my thesis for the past like year, which has been awesome. But I had a lot of questions in terms of trying to find like participants. I'm working on specifically studying athletes. And after hitting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, I finally reached out to like Jill and Eric and all these different things. And they really went to bat for me in a lot of different ways, and they're definitely super helpful. So you have something you're passionate about. This is where like, yeah, like being vulnerable is really important. Like this is important to me, can you help me? We're really fortunate to have like a pretty small institution in terms of like amount of students. So when you reach out to someone, they will answer you and try to help you. So definitely use those resources because the networks we built here are pretty insane. So.
Lottie, Amanda, anything to add?
So, yeah, I think a big thing that we all said was just kind of communication. Just kind of reach out to your fellow teammates, even your coach. But there are a lot of resources that you can use to kind of find out things that you would like to be involved with. So, I mean, I know this going into this year, like, just even by checking my email, like Eric would send a bunch of things, and I was like, all right, this thing kind of seems cool. And then I tell my friend, and he tells his friend. Just like, there's so much ways that just by talking that like things can really grow. So I think just a big thing would just be kind of like, just get out of your comfort zone and just ask, like, you know.
For sure. Amanda, anything else?
Yeah, I think just stressing the importance of like finding what you're passionate in. So like taking a step back, especially from like your sport, and just thinking for a second about like what you like beyond your sport, because there's so many clubs and so many things that you can get into that go beyond just athletics. So I think just taking a second to think about what you're really passionate about, and then going from there. Because even then, like you have so many resources, so it's just really helpful just to take a second to yourself.
Yeah, and for non-athletes here, think about your RAs, professors who, you know, lead people to clubs. A lot of those people that you're reaching out, that Luca mentioned, like you might be a little afraid to, they're like dying to add people, to get new faces in, to grow new leaders, and just be open to the fact that they really do want to help you, and that you're not going to be a burden to anyone who is in that leadership role that wants to make a difference in the world, because the more hands on deck and more people involved in different places, the better.